Recently, I've been hearing a lot of conversation about the difficulties that HSPs are having in relationships, friendships, marriages, and I've also been hearing a lot of talk from partners of HSPs talking about the challenges that they're having with their HSP partners. And what I'm noticing, and I really want to make a very clear distinction, is the problem isn't being a highly sensitive person. So we want to go back to the research with Dr. Elaine Aron, and the research shows that highly sensitive people that are raised in environments with caregivers that are very well attuned to them do really well. They generally do not have issues of anxiety and depression. I'm not saying they have perfect lives, but what they showed is the outcomes were very well. Here's where we need to pay attention. So highly sensitive people that were raised in environments where the caregivers were not attuned to them. And it doesn't have to be something terrible. It could be that, it was a single parent, or there was abuse or addiction, or there could have been a sibling that was ill in the family. It could have been a parent that just was a non-HSP and didn't realize what the HSP needed. So the HSP ends up perceiving all of these things and is not well attuned and responded to by the caregiver. So research shows that these are the folks that end up having higher rates of anxiety and depression. And if you grow up and you're not validated for all the things that you're picking up and you're seeing, and nobody helps you how to calm your overstimulated nervous system, because that's how highly sensitive people are wired, we end up feeling like people don't believe us. We have to make a big deal out of things because all of our lives we're perceiving things that other people aren't. We get overly aroused. We have strong emotional responses to things. And if you've had caregivers that responded well to you, then you learn how to kind of manage that and navigate much better. So then what happens is we have, the wording that I use is we have wounds from childhood. And we're still highly sensitive people and we still get overly aroused. We have strong emotional responses to things. It's harder for us to shrug things off. That's not what the issue is. The issue is the wounding that we have from childhood. And that's overlaid on being a highly sensitive person. And so what I've been talking about a lot with my clients recently, it's been coming up with friends who have partners that are highly sensitive people, that they get confused and they think that the problem is either the person or it's the high sensitivity, and it's the wounding. So if you're somebody who is struggling in relationships, in a marriage, in friendships, and it's really feeling like it's not you're not getting what you want, I really invite you, and I don't mean this in any kind of critical way, but I really invite you to look at how well connected you are to people and how comfortable are you with your own sensitivity. It means maybe finding a group of other people that are highly sensitive so you can get that support that you need. Therapy can be great. And what I would suggest is you can go to the website hsperson.com. There are therapists that are HSP knowledgeable that are listed there. In order to be listed on the website, each therapist needs to read a book that Dr. Aron wrote on therapy with the highly sensitive person. They need to take a test and pass it to be on there. There are many qualified therapists that know how to work with highly sensitive people, but I would really interview any therapist that you're going to think about working with. And what I can tell you is the clients that I have that come to me that are highly sensitive, they either have not worked with a therapist that is HSP knowledgeable. And so oftentimes the messages that we get are, you think too much, you ruminate, you can't let things go. When you work with a therapist or somebody who's HSP knowledgeable, we reframe that. And so I was just talking with a client recently about, we think deeply about things. And so while her friends were saying, you're ruminating about things and why can't you let things go? We process deeply, and that's not a bad thing. And we receive all this messaging that how we are is not okay. And once we can work with somebody, they can help us have a new perspective on how we function and what we do. It really can be a game changer. Being highly sensitive comes with so many incredible gifts. There are definitely things that make it much more challenging, and I struggle too. And I want people to be so clear that the challenges that people have in relationships and with connecting are not about being a highly sensitive person. We don't have the tools. We weren't well attuned. It's the wounding that's overlaid on being highly sensitive. And I really want people to have hope and to be really clear that being a highly sensitive person is a gift. It comes with some challenges, but it makes us loyal, compassionate friends. We are the people that people come to talk to because we're such great listeners and we have empathy. We're creative. We're funny. We have all kinds of skills, but because the wounding gets mixed in with being an HSP, we confuse the wounding with being highly sensitive. Not only do we do it, but other people do it. And I really want people to get clear that they're two separate things. And if you're struggling, there's no shame in reaching out and getting support. If you are going to try and find a therapist, you've got to have a great connection. I've had years of therapy, and because my mom was a single parent who was very stressed and had lots of rules, and it felt like she was kind of withholding of approval, I would find therapists that felt very similar to me, and I just figured this is kind of how adults are. It wasn't until much later in my life and becoming a therapist that you've got to have a great fit with your therapist. Ask them what they can do for you. Ask how they work. Ask what their philosophy is about depression and anxiety. For me, my belief is that life is about struggles. Life is about joy also. But a therapist can help you learn how to lean into the times when it's hard, get some tools, and then when you have the times that go really well, you enjoy those. I can't fix anybody. If anybody comes to me and I can tell them that I can take away all their anxiety and depression and they're going to have a blissful life, I can't deliver on that, because life is about challenges and joy, and it's about learning how to ride through those times and to lean into it so it doesn't feel so scary, to get tools, to have somebody who really gets you and understands you. And if you're feeling like you have a therapist who, when you leave, you don't feel really heard and seen, I would say something is wrong. The other caution that I have as a HSP is we pick up on so many subtleties. And I was just talking with, excuse me, I was just talking with somebody the other day, a therapist who was in therapy with someone who was theoretically HSP knowledgeable. And the therapist's client felt that her therapist was judging her a lot. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't know. But what I can tell you is HSPs pick up on subtleties. So it's very possible that the therapist had a slight reaction that the HSP picked up on. It may have been judgment, it may not have been, but what happens is we pick up on it and we don't ask about it. So then we make up a story in our head. So for me, I often feel like I'm being too much. I feel like people aren't interested. So if I see a reaction, it's very possible for me to attach the story in my head, the meaning. They're bored, I'm not interesting, I'm talking too much. What I need to do is to ask them. Sometimes people aren't even aware that they had a reaction. Sometimes people have indigestion from lunch. Sometimes their pants are too tight. So I really want to caution you that yes, we are picking up on things, but the meaning that we attach to it is not always accurate. And this is again where the wounding comes in, that if we have stories and history from our past, we bring that into every situation without even realizing it. So someone will have a reaction and we attach meaning from our past, and it continues to recreate a story that may not be very accurate. I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day.